Hi. When speaking of the narcissism, so some people have asked me as to why did I pick this topic up. I would say yes, internet has a vast and ample information about what narcissism is and what narcissistic traits are. At the same time, it is all available in Chat GPT. If you put it there, everything is very vastly available. But here, what I want to tell you is that, narcissism is not about uh, just confidence, not about self worth, self love, or at the same time taking selfies all the time wherever you go, and you're like, just keep looking at yourself, which I've seen people doing it mostly, even if they go out for dinners or lunches or sitting in a sit down dinner where there is no much action happening, so they keep taking their selfies and admiring themselves. So I would not say that, this is like um, the narcissistic trait. In fact, we all have a little narcissism in us, which we sometimes don't even acknowledge. We don't even think of it in the narcissistic traits on those lines. Why? Because they are like, we all want little validation from each other, because that keeps us motivated, that keeps us going and moving forward in life. At the same time, we like attention. Everybody loves attention. But there are at times when we don't like it and we hide ourselves in the cocoons also. Like, walking on the street, if somebody is giving you so much of attention, you're like, okay, I don't like that body language, please stop it. So, all of that. And then when you go out sitting in a restaurant with group of people, if you don't always want attention, you want your own quiet time, peace time, me time. Then at the same time, appreciations, we all love appreciated at any given time. Kids especially, it is good to appreciate what they are doing on their thoughts, because they that helps in shaping them. So feeling hurt when criticized, so these are all your emotions which you have to show, which is like a normal human being. It has nothing to do with narcissism, because if you call this as narcissism, then yes, we all have these traits somewhere or the other. But the problem comes where? The problem begins when a person is consistently lacking empathy, is consistently needing control, is over um, uh, himself or herself, avoids accountability all the time. Emotionally, they are just not there. They are just not attached. And they are always ready to harm the other person's worthiness just to protect themselves at any cost. That is what a narcissist trait is, which fears everyone around them. Now, if I say that, there's a very simple difference between the normal man and the narcissistic person. If I talk about the normal man, a healthy person, they if they say something to somebody, they self reflect, they apologize, they feel emotionally attached to that person and empathize with that person. They respect each other's boundaries. Whereas, no, this is not the case with a narcissist. A narcissist will turn everything back onto you. आपने अगर उसको बोला है, चलो कहीं कॉफ़ी पीने चलते हैं, एंड वहाँ अगर रास्ते में ट्रैफिक मिला, पार्किंग नहीं मिली, या कॉफ़ी अच्छी नहीं थी, that blame be ready to take, because it is all because of you, never because of the situation or the person themselves. But their trait is very dominant, that they like to move back on you. They will protect themselves at any cost. Even if you say, chalo coffee peene chalte hain, and they say, yes, let's go to my favorite restaurant or a coffee shop, and there the that day is a bad day because the coffee is not good, they will say it was all because of you, because you wanted to have coffee. But they will never take the accountability of this, that yes, this is my favorite spot where I wanted to have coffee, and by chance today the coffee is not good. So they will back everything on to you. They deny every harm. At the same time, they manipulate every situation, everything for you, and at the same time they make you feel exhausted, emotionally drained. You are, by the end of the day, emotionally exhausted, and you just don't know what to do. Because once you're emotionally exhausted, your body, your minds, your cells, your limbs, everything shuts. आपकी सोचने समझने की शक्ति बिल्कुल खत्म हो जाती है. So the harmful trait that shows up is repeatedly in a close relationship. The other person might come and tell you, oh no, this person is so good, takes such a good care of you, takes you out, gifts you with so many materialistic things, listens to you, but that is all in the public. They always create two identities, one for the public and one for the private, and the private one, who is more at harm, is the closest relationship. Now what they do is that they constantly blame shift. They shift the whole blame on you, as I told you. Secondly, they gaslight. They are always gaslighting you. You talk about a situation and they will tell you that no, it did not happen this way, but what story they have created in their brain, in their head, with their thoughts, that will become the whole story for you also. They will gaslight you to that extent. If you say something, they will say to you very nicely and repeatedly that you are too sensitive. You pinpoint their problems, you pinpoint their attitude, they will say, to kya ho gaya? So what? Then what? Isme kya hai? You are oversensitive. You are the one who is overthinking. So it is very easy because they know the art of constant blame shifting. They know the gaslighting. They are the best manipulators on this earth. Whatever they think, they can easily create it against you, for you. So they love to do, even when they say that the control is losing with you and you're understanding their traits, they will immediately love bomb you. They love bomb you, but then they don't love bomb you alone. They love bomb you by devaluing you. For example, if you're a good person, good at talking or convincing somebody, they'll say, oh, why don't you become a sales girl? Just like the other girl we met the other day. And you would think, oh, I thought he was praising me. And I remember he hated that girl because she was really babbling and talking and explaining. So is he praising me or is he devaluing me? Oh, you are a good artist. Can you paint like Satish Gujral? Can you paint like Picasso? No, I cannot, because I have my own style. But no, your style is not the style. So you're a good artist, but they devalue you by comparing you to another person. You're a good caretaker at home for my mother, for my brother, for my sister, for my kids. Why don't you be a nurse? You're a good cook. Why don't you cook for the whole family? And I'll pay you. So, people don't understand. People who have not dealt with the narcissist will never understand. They'll say, so what? He's praising you. No. That is not a praise, that is devaluing you. At the same time, they just genuinely lack accountability. They are never ready to take any responsibility. Now, when I say responsibility, they will never take responsibility about their relationship, firstly. Because the blame game, they are so good at it. For every relationship disaster, they will just blame you and never take responsibility of it. That where I could intervene and improve the relationship, take care of things, they will not take the accountability ever. So you, in a way, is alone in a relationship with the narcissist. They make the other person question their own reality. आप खुद से ही ये पूछते हो, बार बार पूछते हो कि मैंने ऐसा क्या कर दिया, शायद मैं ये नहीं बोलती या ये नहीं करती तो ये नहीं होता आज, शायद ये मैं नहीं करता या मैंने ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ली होती तो ये नहीं होता. सो you start questioning your own abilities. You start questioning your own responsibilities, your own self. Your self-worthiness becomes this small, this tiny, and nothing is left that is yours. That self-respect you lose with your own self. Then at the same time, your guilt, your shame, and your fear or confusion to dominate. They just revolve you around all this. And you are confused, you are guilty, you're shameful, you just don't know what to do. Am I dominating or I'm dominated? You forget the difference between all this. And then making the other person question their reality, as I said, and different public and a private image they create for themselves. But the private image, nobody knows. Only the victim knows. Nobody else. Because it's the person closest in the relationship who is dealing with the narcissist is the only person who is actually dealing with the whole truth of what it is when the public is not watching. So the jealousy, competition, or inability to celebrate others. They can never ever celebrate anybody's success unless that person is very close to them or is higher in the status through them. So their need to win instead of resolve is always instinctively alive. You think you're going to resolve, but they don't want to resolve with you. They only want to win over you because that's the only way they can control you. The truth is not, what a narcissist says about themselves, but it's about what repeatedly happens. These are all the repeated patterns that you might go every day, day after day, feeling those, experiencing those, living those for that matter. So there is no run away from all these because it is so much repeatedly happening in your life that this becomes your reality and you start resonating yourself with all of this and you feel this is the normal me. You forget yourself, who you were, who you are, what your worth is, but you remember only what they have made you worthy of. So what are the possible signs of a victim? Let's talk about that. Now, the possible signs of the victim are they walk on the eggshells all the time. You don't know whether you have to express yourself or not, whether you have to share the certain things or not, whether you talk about the kids, whether you talk about the family, whether you talk about the work, whether you talk about the house, anything you talk about, you don't know how the response is going to come to you and how demeaning it can be for you. Because they just cannot make you comfortable in the conversation with them. Because if they do, then you are the controlling one, not them. So you're always walking on the eggshells. At the same time, there is always constant self doubt. As I mentioned, you just forget your worth, and all you're doing is you're always self doubting your own self. You cannot take even a slightest decision for your own life. You don't know if taking or setting the boundaries with them is a healthy idea or not. You just don't anticipate that. You just cannot. And before every conversation, anxiety becomes your partner. Before every conversation, anxiety walks in first. And there is no real conversation. Real conversation is when you talk your heart, your mind, your feeling to your partner, to your, even if I say your boss is a narcissist. So when your boss is a narcissist, you cannot express your ideas, whether it is in the favor of the company, whether it is in the favor of your people working in the company, nothing. Because they're so scared, they don't know what the response is going to come. So the anxiety walks in the conversation first. And when the anxiety walks in the conversation first, everything else start to diminish. They emotionally drain you after every conversation. You are left with nothing more but only you yourself, all drained. एक ढांचे के अलावा आप में वो इमोशंस इतने हद तक खत्म हो चुके होते हैं कि आप में कुछ रह ही नहीं जाता आगे कुछ सोचने और समझने के लिए. आप यू आर फुल्ली इमोशनली ड्रेन्ड एंड over explaining yourself always for everything. You have to give explanation even for your tiniest needs. Why do you need this? Why do I need a toothbrush? You need to give your explanation to that. Which company? Why this company? This phone? Why this phone? So for the tiniest of the simplest needs also, you're always over explaining yourself. Why I have this emotion? You're over explaining yourself. These are not real conversations. I'm sorry, but they are not. They are over draining, over explanatory, full of anxiety. These just cannot be your true emotions. These just cannot be your true conversations. And they drain you. You lose confidence. You lose your identity, who you are, who you were. Nobody. You have no identity by the end of the whole years spent around the narcissist. They eat up, they feed on your identity for that matter. And then at the same time, you feel guilty for not having the normal needs because you feel something is wrong with you. They've gaslighted you. They've manipulated you. They've made you belittle of yourself. They have created anxiety for you. So you start feeling that, okay, you know what? My needs are not normal. Maybe that is why they are not to be fulfilled. And then there is a confusion between the love and the control. They love bomb you and they control you. So there's always a confusion. You say, oh no, you know what? They love me. They do everything for me. But where? When? How? Have you questioned yourself all this? Have you asked? At the same time, their biggest hard tool is they love keeping you isolated. They will make sure you are not in association with your family, with your friends, with your associates. Even if you have kids and they're away, they will make sure they talk more than you do. They connect more with them than you do. They will not let you have a greater relationship with their own family also. Because they want to show the world that you are the mislead, the misbehaved one, not them. Because they just cannot take anything on their identity, on themselves. So you become isolated. Your family, your friends, they just don't understand. Why have you isolated yourself? Where are you? What are you so busy with? And every time somebody calls you or somebody wants to meet you, you're always putting a pressure on your brain, on your heart, and you feel that no, I cannot go because your confidence has also gone. And you feel that, um, I better be home than to create any confusions or fights in my house than to meet somebody whom I should not or I should. Even if your heart wants to, you still don't. So at the same time, they make you feel unseen, unheard, emotionally unavailable, lonely. And it's not only with them in a relationship, it's with every relationship. They make sure that you are feeling it this way. Now, I would say that a narcissist may not break your spirit at one go. They will do it in a very friendly way and then very slowly and gradually. What they do is they create a lot of confusion in your head. They keep invalidating you all the time that you're not worthy. This is not good. You don't cook like my mom. You don't look like my mom. You don't take care uh, of me like my father. You don't drive like my father. You're not a worthy businessman like my father. You're not gentle. So, they kind of always invalidate you for everything, for your every step, for your every word that you say. Maybe they even make fun of how you pronounce, how you speak, how you look, how you wear, everything. At the same time, the inconsistency in their behaviors, whether you don't know what to do, and the control. Now, not every selfish, immature, controlling, or emotionally unavailable person is NPD. He's not a narcissistic personality disorder because the social media likes to label. They like to label everyone, but we need to completely closely understand as what the real patterns are. If these things are repeatedly happening to you, that means that the person has the narcissistic traits and need the psychological help. And if they are not doing it only with their personal relationship like their spouses, but they're also, if you see the repeated traits somewhere with the other relationships as well, then yes, this person needs help. There are the narcissistic clinically proven traits then. A social media will not decide whether the person has or is a narcissist. But yes, a trained, advanced psychologist will. At the same time, whenever you're dealing with a narcissist, have you ever sat down to think or question? Someone was asking me that, how do we do that? So there are few questions that I feel that one can ask to know if the person has the narcissistic traits. Now, for example, you're sitting with somebody, with your partner who you feel has the narcissistic traits because you're still confused, whether it is true or false, whether it is normal or narcissist. So you can ask this question that can this person handle accountability without attacking me even for once? Can this person handle accountability without even harming or attacking me once? Secondly, can they genuinely empathize with me on any of this one situation in my life where I really need this person? Because If your spouse or your parents cannot empathize with you, then that means they don't really care for you. They don't love you. They just want to control you. Because empathy doesn't come with control, it comes with love, affection, togetherness. It's an emotion already there existing where the narcissist doesn't have it. They just don't have it. So, do these conflicts end in resolution or confusion? Are these giving you any results or more confusion, more anxiety, more reason to think and cry, make you feel smaller or more anxious for that matter? At the same time, am I allowed to have set boundaries for myself without the permission? If the answer, after asking these questions, if the answer goes repeatedly pointing on the fear, on the confusion, on the anxiety, on the control, or any of the emotion which is just draining you, then that's where the harmfulness begins. These questions will save you, guard you, protect you. I end by saying one thing: confidence inspires others, narcissism confuses others, it consumes others, it demeans others. So be cautious, be mindful, and for more information, more such questions, subscribe my channel if you still have not, like my video, and stay tuned.